What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, we have some more question and answers to go over in this video from the TFW 2005 and Mark Clonis interview that happened a few months ago in June. Just some things that I didn't get the chance to cover or forgot to cover back when this interview first dropped because of all the news that was coming out around that time. So expect a few more videos covering the information in this interview. So without further ado, let's get into the first question and answer here. So it says, and I quote, "Will there be more multi-packs like the Selects Autobot 1 with cartoon decos?" And Mark answered with, "Sure, why not?" This is kind of like a textbook answer, nothing really too crazy to delve into here. It seems like it's something that they obviously do want to do at some point, but they might not have any plans for it right now for the foreseeable future for like the next year or so. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something, but I'm pretty sure we might have all the selects listings for next year, and I don't think it mentions anything about G1 Autobot or Decepticon repaints. I think it's just the Maximal and the Predacon packs, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, it seems like it's going to be a given at some point down the line. They're going to make another Autobot or Decepticon G1 multi-pack, especially with all these new Studio Series 86 molds the last few years. Hasbro is not going to spend all this money making new molds for all these characters and not repaint or reuse them ever again. So I definitely think it's something they're going to delve into more in the future, hopefully. And I would like to see those. You know, I think the multi-packs are interesting to look at and, you know, speculate on and see what characters they put together and see what the different sculpting or the different paint is on the other releases and comparing. So here's hoping we get more of those. And another question and answer here is, are you interested in doing Super Megatron to go with Star Optimus? And Mark answered, again, sure, why not? I love me some Megs. So this seems to be an answer, you know, if I were to kind of speculate on how he answered this here, it seems like obviously Super Megatron is a character, a version of the character that would be on the table for at some point. Because, you know, with how they answer some of the questions, it's like, okay, this character isn't on the table, like for, say, the ROTF twins, or this character, we're thinking of how to do them, and we're brainstorming ideas, we're talking to Kara. You know, they said that about a new G1 Predaking, and some other characters recently that I can't remember off the top of my head they said that about. Or they just plain simply say that, yes, this character's on the table and we do want to get him out there at some point. So it seems like he's answering this in a way where, yes, we would like to do a new Super Megatron one day, but he's not a release that's in the cards or in planning stages right now for the next couple years. So if I had to guess on how he answered this question, we could see a Super Megatron as early as maybe like 7 years from now, 5-7 years from now at the earliest. Could be longer, obviously, because, you know, Hasbro has so much on the docket that people want to be made, and so much is planned right now, just going by all the interviews and the question and answers that we've been getting through Instagram DMs the last year or two, and in these Q&As here from TFW. So it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a wait for Super Megatron, unfortunately. But, you know, we still have that one from 2020, which is a decent figure. It is a little outdated considering it's on that Titans Return Galvatron mold. But, you know, we did get that not too long ago, just 5 years ago. So it seems like that's our Super Megatron for now. Maybe give it another 5 to 7 years, and we could see a redo on that, considering that is kind of like a new age popular design for Megatron, and especially for me personally, guys, that Megatron design is super sick. Like, no pun intended with the super, but like that is one of my favorite Megatron designs in recent years for me. Probably, if I were to put him into my Megatron ranking as a whole for the franchise, probably top 10, if I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, all the weapons on him and everything, if you put him as a modern day commander class with all the bells and whistles of a $90 figure, I would buy that on site. Give me the pre-order date, and I'm pre-ordering it that day the second I get a chance to. So hopefully we get him at some point soon, and it's not too long of a wait, you know? And the next question and answer here is the intention to keep alternating the Titan / Commander factions each year? And Mark answered with, since this is mostly an Autobots versus Decepticon brand, I think everyone expects to see the counterpart after we release, say, the Decepticon or Autobot version of a character from a certain series. We're always trying to give people what they ask for and want. After all, no Megatron to battle with Optimus Prime isn't a world I'd like to ever live in. So to kind of break down this answer here, it seems like what he's saying, so if they do a character that has a known arch enemy in the fiction, or if it's a character that ties into a team or a micro team, stuff like that, say like Magmatron. We just got Magmatron last year as a commander class. Now for 2026 Wave 1 of Age of the Primes, we're getting leader class Big Convoy to go with, the arch enemies of each other. So going forward, that seems like a big priority with Hasbro, completing the arch enemies of characters and completing micro teams and even bigger teams, even though that tends to take them pretty long, unfortunately. I just don't want it to become a predicament where you're waiting more than 2 years to complete an arch enemy set or like a team, because a perfect example of this in recent times is, I actually have 2 examples. So one, you could say the Beast Wars Season 2 and Beyond cast. They're really dragging to the finish line to complete the Beast Wars show cast. At this forecast, if you want a complete modern team that's not the MP stuff, you're looking at another 5 to 10 years possibly of waiting for these characters. And, by that time, what are the price points going to look like? What are the quality of these figures going to look like even? Are they going to change the scales again in that time to where the older figures aren't even going to be compatible with the new stuff they could do? It's just something that is stretching way too long with the Beast Wars characters. And then to a lesser extent, another example of this could be, we got the Armada Commander Class Optimus 2 years ago right now, but by the time Armada Jetfire releases, which you could say, that's part of the Autobot team he's leading, and that's also a part of the micro combiner team you had with Optimus, Jetfire, and Overload in the Armada cartoon, we're just now getting Jetfire by the time that figure releases, over 3 years since that Optimus figure came out. I just don't know why we had to wait 3 years to get this Jetfire. I mean, yeah, there is character choices and logistics between commander class, but, Jetfire should have been a priority where we got him as a commander class this year at the latest. So I just don't want them dragging ass on certain characters and completing arch enemies or teams or micro teams. And it seems like they are with some of this stuff, unfortunately, just because of the logistics of size classes and, character selection not being the best at times, if I'm being honest, in my own opinion. I don't know, just going by this answer here, it seems like they're making that a priority. But at times it feels like they're kind of dragging it along a little too much here. So hopefully they improve on that in years to come. And this last question and answer I want to go over here in this video is, so if you made the rest of the DJD, could you just change their alt modes to get them through? And Mark answers, I mean, I could, but I know how passionate fans are about accuracy. Keep sharing your thoughts. I honestly don't know what to make of this answer. Obviously, the DJD is on the table. It's something they want to do at some point, considering they already knocked out Tarn. When did Tarn come out? That was over 2 years ago now, wasn't it? Oh man, time is flying by. So, I mean, we already have the leader, and it's been over two going on 3 years now since we got that figure. So it is kind of a question that's popping up now. When are we going to start seeing other members of the Decepticon Justice Division? And I honestly don't know. Going by his answer here, it seems like they're still trying to figure that out, and they're still trying to fit a way to get the rest of these members out that's not going to piss off Transformers fans and hardcore fans and, vocal people online to the point where people aren't going to want to buy these figures, and in a result, Hasbro would be losing out on money and profit. So I think that's what's probably holding up the rest of the DJD getting released in a timely manner. If I were to assume, we could see another member or we could get the team complete. So first up, another member. I could see this happening for the comic subline in 2027 at the earliest, or 2028. And for the team to be complete, I would not be surprised if we're waiting another 5 to 10 years to complete the DJD. Unfortunately, because it seems like it's a team that's a bit uneasy for Hasbro to plan out. Because going by Mark's answer, I mean, he does want to change the alt modes. He's saying he could. It seems like it's a little bit conflicting in terms of whether or not they're actually going to do that or not. So here's hoping they figure everything out on how to do the Decepticon Justice Division and complete that fire team from the comics. I mean, I'm cool with the third-party versions, honestly, guys. I don't really need the Hasbro ones that bad, but it would be really cool to see how Hasbro does these, and if they actually do incorporate their comic book accurate alt modes into the main line, or if they do change them. I would have to imagine they are going to change them, considering they're very raunchy alt modes. But who knows? We're going to have to wait and see when they inevitably do them, because it does seem like the rest of the team is on the table at some point later on down the line. But yeah, guys, let me know down below. What do y'all think about all the question and answers that TFW and Mark went through here in this video? And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!